What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Narkman's Rabbitholes episode 4. And you might notice we're at a very, very different setup than what I'm used to. I'm going to make it work. We're going to try to make it work. My studio downstairs is getting renovated right now. Basically, it's just we're not going to use it right now. So we're up in the bedroom. Hopefully it looks pretty decent. Hopefully the audio is okay. But anyway, today we're going to be talking about something positive when it comes to nutrition for the first time. I don't mean to be a negative person. I'm not usually super negative, but when it comes to nutrition, it's much easier to talk about things that are negative because they're everywhere, at least in the U.S. And so today, what are we going to be talking about? We're talking about non-fat plain Greek yogurt, and that might sound pretty lame to some of you guys who have never tried it before or have tried it and know that you don't like how it tastes. But my dad actually put me on to Greek yogurt recently, that plain Greek yogurt that is. I've been eating sweetened Greek yogurt for a very long time now. But what is plain Greek yogurt? So plain Greek yogurt is Greek yogurt that's not sweetened. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's plain. But what's awesome about it, especially the non-fat one, is that you're getting about 16 or 17 grams of protein in a serving, which is usually 3/4 of a cup or 170 grams. So you're getting lots of protein, and you're not getting all those sugars. So you're only getting about 5 grams of sugar. So you're getting 16 or 17 grams of protein. You're getting 5 grams of lactose sugar, and less than 1 gram of fat. So really good macros. Those of you that are into fitness and into nutrition, you know that those are pretty good macros. And I want to mention lactose intolerant people real quick. If you buy the type of plain Greek yogurt that has the live and active cultures stamp on the back, that'll mean that they've added live and active cultures specifically for your gut microbiome. It's really healthy. It's really good for you. Very similar to eating a lot of like fermented foods like sauerkraut and that sort of thing. But that microbiome, those types of bacteria that they've added into there are going to be really good for breaking down some of that lactose for you. So it's not going to be a lactose-free product, but what it does is turn those lactose sugars into more digestible sugars for you. And you shouldn't have as much of a problem with it compared to other things. Now, if you're like really lactose intolerant, like you can't eat any, then yeah, you should not be eating Greek yogurt. But you can try a little bit, see how you feel. But those of you that are like a little bit lactose intolerant, which everybody is, every human is, then you can give it a try. It might be good for you. It might not. Just try a little bit. But other than that, onto the gut microbiome, like I just mentioned earlier. So what that is the bacteria, the healthy bacteria that are in your gut that help you process lots of different foods, and it's great for your health. And the thing, it's a probiotic, basically, is where I'm going with this. So fermented foods especially are the main source of this, but the Greek yogurt with the live and active culture stamp will also have very similar effects, because like I know a lot of you don't like eating fermented foods. It's not really your thing, but it's going to be great for that. And what that does is promote a healthy gut, and promoting a healthy gut promotes a whole lot of different great things. And according to healthline.com, a healthy gut contributes to a strong immune system, heart health, brain health, improved mood, healthy sleep, and even prevention of some cancers and autoimmune disease. Again, from healthline.com, guys. As always, every source will be in the description of this video. I don't know how many sources I have. It's a lot. It's always a lot. Even for positive things that I already know, you got to find sources for it, because I'm not a scientist or a doctor. So basically, this gut microbiome, these improved things that you're going to get from Greek yogurt are going to be really good for your entire body, for heart health, brain health. You can even stave off some cancers and autoimmune disease, which is awesome. If you watched my video on canola oil, you'll know that cancer and autoimmune diseases are everywhere and they're horrible. And a lot of other things that are in the American diet are increasing our risk for it. And so getting a super healthy gut from eating a lot of non-fat plain Greek yogurt with live and active cultures could be a great way to mitigate some of those. If you're not making those changes there, this is a much easier change to make than not eating any fried food ever, or any chip, or any of those kind of products that have those horrible oils in them. So Greek yogurt can be a great way of staving off some of those and lowering your risks of those sort of things. And it's also a good source of calcium. So it's not actually as good of a source of calcium as regular yogurt. And the problem with regular yogurt, first of all, plain regular yogurt is sort of hard to find sometimes, and most people don't like it. They like the sweet yogurt. The yogurt that most of us are eating is insanely sugary, and that's the main problem with those. And they don't have as good of macros. They have a lot more lactose. They have a lot less protein. Don't necessarily have more fat, but they're not going to be as good for you as Greek yogurt. But Greek yogurt is going to have a little bit less calcium than those, which is worth noting. But a serving of Greek yogurt is going to have over 200 milligrams per serving, so it's like about 230 milligrams per serving ish on average, and that's again 3/4 cups. And everyone knows that calcium is important. You get strong bones, whatever. Yeah, it's overlooked because it has a lot of other applications. And according to Mayo Clinic, your heart, muscles, and nerves also need calcium to function properly. Again, it's from Mayo Clinic. Links in description. And according to the biostation.com, 7 out of 10 Americans are deficient in calcium. And that's a lot. That's a lot. 7 out of 10. That's a strong majority. And that's a really big deal because we really don't know when we're deficient in calcium. It's very hard to tell. So basically what happens in the body, so let's say you go get a blood test, right? And you test normal for calcium. You're like, cool, I'm eating enough calcium, I'm good. But that's not necessarily true because the way your body diverts its calcium, it prioritizes blood calcium rather than bone calcium. So blood calcium is crucial for a lot of different functions that are fairly irrelevant for this one, but it's super important. And what your body does is if you're not eating enough calcium, so you're deficient in calcium, it will maintain a healthy level of calcium in your blood. And the way it does that is it actually takes calcium away from your bones in order to sustain a healthy blood calcium level. So what you could be doing is not eating enough calcium in the diet, and then the calcium tests normal. You're testing normal, so you make no changes, and your body's actually taking away calcium from your bones and decreasing your bone density and increasing your risk for something like osteoporosis, especially in older women. And it's taking away. So you're testing normally, you don't change it, and your bones are deteriorating for years. And you don't know it because you're testing normal. So getting calcium in the diet is very important, and Greek yogurt can be a great way to do that and stave off some of that, osteoporosis risk. Bone density decreases, that sort of thing. But osteoporosis, I'm going to just mention real quick, is an extremely dangerous condition, and it doesn't really get enough respect for what it is. People make fun of the old ladies and stuff. They're the ones that typically have it. But when you see, an old lady fall and break her hip, that's a very normal thing that you hear happen. When they break their hip, they're not breaking like they fall and it's one clean break. Like you fall and your hip shatters into millions of pieces, and it can be irreparable, and it can be life-threatening, especially in the older folks, because these older folks are going to have a harder time healing from things like that, going to physical therapy, getting reconstruction done, getting a hip replacement done. Like, it's a humongous deal, and you could be deficient in calcium and increasing your risk for this, especially women, without even knowing it, because of the way that your body mitigates the blood calcium level and extracts it from your bone density. So osteoporosis, extremely dangerous. That could be a whole episode by itself, but Greek yogurt would be a great tool to help stave some of that off. Again, you're going to need a lot more than just the Greek yogurt. You need a lot of calcium in the day relative to like one Greek yogurt serving. I'm not going to go into percentages or anything because it's going to vary based on who you are, how old you are, lots of different things. And the next thing that's great about Greek yogurt, plain Greek yogurt, especially, which is what I'm referring to the whole time. I'm not talking about sweetened Greek yogurt. But with another thing that's great about it is that it's a great source of vitamin B12. And vitamin B12 deficiencies in it can be extremely dangerous because B12 is essential for your DNA development and your red blood cell development. And your red blood cells basically carry oxygen around your body, and they keep your whole body functioning smoothly by carrying oxygen around to everything. And if you're deficient in B12, you can basically develop something similar to like a sickle cell anemia or something like that, where your body's not getting enough oxygen anywhere, basically, because your red blood cells aren't forming properly and you don't have healthy red blood. And that can be extremely dangerous. It can lead to extreme fatigue. It can lead to increased risk of autoimmune diseases, all of these sorts of horrible things we talk about all the time. But most of us, we're good on B12. Honestly, we're getting plenty from the meat. But where this is really crucial is when you talk about vegetarians and vegans. Now, vegans, they can't eat Greek yogurt, obviously, because it's Greek yogurt. It's made from milk. But I want to mention the vegans real quick, because the B12 in a vegan diet is largely non-existent. The only thing that I know about that has some in it would be something like seaweed that they can eat. And most vegans, I don't think, are eating a lot of seaweed. But for you vegetarians out there that just aren't eating meat, but you're still eating some animal products, Greek yogurt can be an essential tool for your B12 needs. Let's see. Because a 156 gram container of Greek yogurt, which is slightly smaller than the normal serving size of 170 grams, will contain about 45% of your daily vitamin B12 needs. Again, going to vary on who you are, how old you are, gender, all these sorts of different things. But 45% is a lot. So if you had 2 servings of Greek yogurt as a vegetarian, and that was like your only B12 source of the day, which you could also use eggs. There's a couple other things, a couple animal products, but really not much. If you have 2 servings of Greek yogurt a day, you're really close to your daily amount of B12. And you could stave off, a lot of those potential risks that you see with red blood cell development, DNA development, autoimmune diseases, that sort of horrible stuff that we see all the time. And one last big benefit is going to come from realsimple.com, and it states that the combination of calcium, potassium, phosphorus, and magnesium in Greek yogurt can work together to relax blood vessels and reduce blood pressure. Basically, all you need to know is that Greek yogurt can be good at lowering blood pressure. And if you don't know, most Americans, let's see, I have a quote in here. let's go here. So there's a quote from mayoclinic.com. It says, high blood pressure leads to heart attack, stroke, aneurysms, heart failure, kidney problems, eye problems, metabolic syndrome, and even dementia. Again, mayoclinic.com, links in the description. That's a whole bunch of things. Basically, your entire cardiovascular system is at risk with high blood pressure and even dementia, which is, I'm learning more and more that dementia, that sort of Alzheimer's sort of thing. Heart disease seems to be fairly related to a lot of those, or a lot of the similar risk factors there. Those are all horrible things. You don't want any of those. And something alarming that I found from healthpolicy.edu is that about 70% of Americans will have high blood pressure at some point in their life. 70% of us, again, 7 out of 10, is a substantial amount of us. And where 70% of Americans are going to be increasing their risks for cardiovascular disease of all kinds and even dementia at some point in their life. And most Americans it's going to usually be older, are going to be sitting at high blood pressure for a lot of years probably, and increasing their risk for all of these sorts of different horrible things, heart disease, dementia. That's pretty alarming, 7 out of 10 people. And plain Greek yogurt can be a good way of helping to lower that down, along with, obviously lifestyle change and just eating cleaner in general, avoiding all the bad negative vegetable oils. Watch the canola oil episode if you're curious about that, because you really shouldn't be eating that sort of stuff. But so basically, Greek yogurt does a lot of great things for us, right? I've been touting it for the last 15 minutes, but how do you eat it? Because I don't think anyone's eating plain Greek yogurt with a spoon. It tastes just like sour cream. I don't think anybody's doing that. It's largely indistinguishable from sour cream. I don't remember if I mentioned this or not, but if you ate them separately, not right side by side, then it would be quite hard to tell which one you're eating. But sour cream is going to be very high in saturated fat and fat in general. Milk fat is pro-inflammatory. It's not great. Fat isn't necessarily bad, but saturated fat usually is considered bad and will lead to things like high blood pressure and heart disease. Cholesterol is the big one. LDL cholesterol levels tend to go up with high saturated fat diets. So Sour cream's really not that healthy. And Greek yogurt tastes just like it. The texture is very similar. It's a little bit thicker and it's much higher in protein. It's going to be lower calorie. So the easiest recipe here for plain Greek yogurt is going to be in like your Mexican food and your chili and that sort of thing. Just don't grab the sour cream. Grab the plain Greek yogurt. And your food is going to be just as good. I've been doing this myself. It's honestly great. It's very hard to tell the difference. If you do like sour cream, utilize that because you're going to get lower saturated fat, lower calories out of the Greek yogurt. And most of us are trying to eat less calories. Some of us are trying to eat more, but really you don't want to eat more if you're getting a lot of these negative effects too from these saturated fats and that sort of thing. So you just throw it on your taco, you get a fourth serving of it or something. You get an extra 4 grams of protein. It's going to boost that up that day. About 100%, I would venture to say, maybe more in the 90s or something, of Americans are deficient in protein. Protein is the most deficiency, or we have the most deficiency of that out of any of the 3 macronutrients. We overeat carbs big time. I'm not demonizing carbs. You need them in your diet, but you don't need as many as we're getting. Protein's good. You don't need saturated fats, so protein's good. Just keep replacing everything with Greek yogurt, and there's loads of different things you can replace with it. And my go-to thing right now is like sort of a sandwichy like mayo replacement. It doesn't really taste like mayo. It's not mayo, but it can work in place of something like that and work as like a nice sauce. But it's extremely simple. You just take a big spoonful of plain Greek yogurt, smack it in a bowl, and then pour hot sauce in it. Pour Frank's in there. You put that stuff on everything, and then you mix it up, and you just spread it on the bottom of your hamburger bun, and it's great. It tastes awesome. And you're adding protein where you would normally add a ton of calories and a ton of fat. You're not adding many calories when you do that. If you're doing like a 4th serving, you're adding like 25 calories or something. Whereas if you did mayo in that same concentration, that same amount, you're going to add like well over 100. So you can stack up your calories super fast without using something like this nice Greek yogurt as a sauce. And honestly, it tastes great. So the sandwich replacement is awesome. Like my sandwich had 8 more grams of protein earlier today than it would have normally. And 8 doesn't sound like a lot, but if you're doing that throughout the course of the day, like it really adds up, and it really takes away from those bad calories that you'd normally be getting, those saturated fats and super calorically dense but not nutritionally dense things like mayonnaise and sour cream. All right, and I meant to mention this before talking about like the sandwich replacement and the use of of plain Greek yogurt in things like Mexican food as a sour cream substitute. Is that plain Greek yogurt? I think you shouldn't think about it as a traditional yogurt. When you think about traditional yogurt, you think about super high sugar, really sweet, sort of a dessert, as you will, Go-Gurt, that sort of thing, Yoplait, all those fruit flavored things. In my opinion, you should be thinking about plain Greek yogurt more like a savory, sour kind of food, and use it very differently than you would from traditional yogurt. Like I said, I put it on my sandwich earlier, and that's completely normal to me now, but thinking of putting yogurt on your sandwich is a very strange concept probably for a lot of people. So think of it as a savory, blank canvas kind of sauce rather than a sweet dessert-y kind of thing, because it really is not sweet. You can make it sweet. That's one way a lot of people eat it, and that is better than buying like sweetened Greek yogurt that's sweetened with sugar, because you can control the amount of sugars you're putting in. You can use honey and use lower amounts of it, or you can sweeten it with stevia yourself, or just throw some berries in there and eat it like that. That would taste like sour cream and berries, so I don't know about anybody doing that, but it can be eaten sweet. It's not like you have to, but I wouldn't recommend eating it that way mostly, or thinking about it that way when you're looking for it as a replacement rather than a meal by itself, because I think replacing things that are unhealthy with healthy options while still getting a really good food that you enjoy a lot is like what eating healthy is all about, because it's so like you feel like you won a battle. Like when my dad's the one, he started eating Greek yogurt recently, plain Greek yogurt, and I thought it was weird at first, and I tried it too, and I was like, it's awesome to replace things with something that's very similar and is still, it tastes great and it's just way better for you. You feel so much better when you eat these kind of foods. You're eating lower calories, you feel leaner, nicer, more energy. Everything's just so much better when you do it like this. Um, and that's really what eating healthy is about. I don't want you to give up everything in life. The canola oil video is such a bummer. It's like you can't eat anything anymore. But if you can find replacements for those with, good alternatives, and you can still enjoy the things that you love, but do it in a much smarter, more calculated way that's going to be much more beneficial for you in the future, and keep you away from things like these autoimmune diseases and these horrible heart diseases, cancers, brain disease, dementia, Alzheimer's. Like, your risk factors for these things go up so much when you eat these processed foods, and eating, these plain Greek yogurt, replacing one. The last one I'm going to mention for replacement here is a salad dressing, and salad dressing is like sleeper horrible for you most of the time, because like you're eating a salad, right? And the whole point of eating a salad is probably to be healthy, unless you're someone that just really enjoys salad. If you're somebody that really enjoys salad, you're probably already a healthy person anyway, for the most part. But if you're someone that enjoys salad because you love drowning it in Caesar dressing, or whatever your favorite dressing is, you should really read the label on those salad dressings, or ask the restaurants what they're using, because it's probably made with soybean oil, which is extremely pro-inflammatory, 60-1 omega-6 to omega-3 fatty acid ratio, which again, canola oil video, we learned is terrible for you. 60-1 ratios of that mean super high inflammatory, very bad, increased risk for basically everything that's bad for you. Very non-scientific in this one, but Greek yogurt can make awesome salad dressings. They'll be more creamy than your typical like Caesar dressing or something like that. They're going to be a little thicker, but again, like, find what spices you like a super simple one, that's sort of like Mediterranean would be like adding some dill and squeeze a lemon in there and mix it up with some Greek yogurt. And that's a great salad dressing right there. Super simple. You can do the hot sauce thing. The hot sauce thing is so easy that I do it all the time now. You just pour some Franks into some Greek yogurt, pour it over a salad, and it tastes great, and it is nice, spicy, savory, and it's not giving me horrible soybean oil. It's giving me good protein. It's giving me good gut microbiome, bacteria. It's just awesome. So these replacements, I think, are super important, and get creative with Greek yogurt, because you can do so much with it. This is just scratching the surface. I've only been eating it for like a week, and I've learned that it's basically a cheat code for eating healthy and still enjoying sauces, because I thought I was going to give up so much sauce besides hot sauce, because hot sauce is pretty clean. But giving up all these salad dressings and stuff. I don't really like salad without a dressing. Eating leaves is not really my thing, but I do it, and now I don't have to eat plain leaves, because I can make a Greek yogurt, like vinaigrette or whatever I want. And there's tons of recipes online for it, so it's not expensive either. It's not going to be any more expensive than your salad dressings, your conventional things that you're replacing with this. It's not any more expensive than sour cream, maybe a little bit more than sour cream, but it's going to be much more beneficial for you. It's going to make you feel better. You're going to get way more protein in. Guys, protein is so important. I'm not going to hark on that, but give Greek yogurt a try. Look up some recipes and make it work for you. Learn what you like, and let me know how it goes. But I will leave you guys with that one, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you for watching Narkman's Rabbitholes podcast. See you in the next one.